Everybody can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's start. So for check payment, only for countries that continue to use check, okay, you need to go to vendor payment journal. So same thing, do a new journal. Set up your default dimension. Okay. In terms of selecting the transaction, all this quite straightforward, similar to how we do a vendor payment. The most important thing to note is the method of payment. This one is check. This is different from the payment that we are doing previously. And this is the only kind of situation where we need to go into vendor payments instead of doing it via the other way. Please slow down. Can you go back to the journal? Okay, so in terms of selecting the vendor account, after you select the vendor account, you put in the description. Then you go and choose the journal, the vendor invoices that you want to settle. Okay. Then you put in your offset account. For those who do not want to use the offset account, you can create a different line to do the credit entry. So when you select check, it will automatically pick your next check number. Alice, can you see the check number from here? Okay, so if you want to see the check number, you need to go into list bank. You go into your bank account under cash and bank management, bank account, and you select your bank account and go to setup. This will allow you to check what is the next check number that the system will generate. Okay, to match back with your check number.
At least I have approved the journal.
You look at the journal entries. The print journal. Okay, this would be the journal entries for the payment. Basically, you debit your vendor account and you credit your bank. At least just now that check is automated numbering, right? You do not need to create the check number yourself, right?
If one or then have to create.
Sorry again?
If you want automate, have to create from when and then input the quantity for next about if next 10 or next 20.
So you need to create this every time.
For Hong Kong, normally create every time when it, because sometimes the check number is continue.
Okay, so it's very important to double check what is the last check number before you try to create any check payment. Otherwise, if the check number is wrong, then you need to void the payment. Okay, but generally speaking, all of us need to try to avoid using check payment as much as possible unless we don't have a choice. As much as possible, we want to try to do electronic banking. So this is the part that we didn't cover during the AP training. Okay, same thing. What's the next step? You still need to generate payment?
Yes. Okay. After approved, then here can drop down, can see the generate payment.
Okay, so from here, we check the check number is accurate and we generate the payment. Then your check number will be populated. Can you take a look at the check pinout? Do we need the check pinout? At least what's the next step?
No, it's done. Cannot click back the check print out already.
What about the PDF at the bottom? Do we need that right at the bottom? This one. This one is for the electronic check payment, right? But I think this one we're now configuring. For those that are using electronic check payment, please highlight during our individual country calls. Because I think this one is not configured. It's only for system capturing. So at least this one is considered payment made, right? In D365. Okay. So for those who have questions, please remember to jot it down somewhere, and we'll discuss next week. Okay, then we move on to GL.
Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So for all the daily journal key via GL, same thing, go to module drop down, then go to general ledger, general journal, click new, then choose your journal name. For normal daily journal, we'll choose daily journal. You can change your description. Then you can input the financial dimension upfront. Then go to line. So you can see that just now I input the financial dimension upfront. So when you go into line, it will auto-populate. Then click Save and make sure your journal is balanced. Then proceed to validate. Okay, and then another thing is for all the intercompany journal, all the intercompany journal must be keyed in via GL. Use journal name ICJ. This is for intercompany journal only. So basically, the GL works exactly the same like AX. It's very simple.
Please take note, previously we mentioned that D365 has the functionality to do the entry automatically in the issuing company and the receiving company. After testing it out, we realized that it doesn't work for our scenario. So we have to go back to the normal way where the person doing the intercompany will have to key in both sides. It is limitation in terms of what we can select for the financial dimension. So we cannot use that method. i.e., for example, GBSC issue the DA processing invoice, right? GBSC will be doing the entry on the GBSC books as well as HKSA books. So both books, we will need to do it manually. In terms of GL, there are some additional functions which we actually do have it in AX, but we did not actively use it. So moving forward, we will try to see how best those functions can be used for each country. This one will be covered in the individual country sessions. One of the functionality that we are exploring is doing the cost allocation. They say, for example, right, GBSC bills the cost recharge to HKSA. And HKSA would need to split the cost recharge by the various line of business. Then basically we can choose a general line of business first and run a cost allocation process to split it automatically rather than doing it manually, as in doing manual calculation. So this feature is something that we can explore, but we will talk about this on a country by country basis rather than trying to do a full demo. Zing, can you show the revaluation?
Revaluation. This one?
Yeah.
I just show through these steps only.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically we will be using the foreign currency revaluation in D365. The key thing is those accounts that need to be revalued, it would need to be tagged accordingly first. definitely all the foreign currency bank GL accounts will be tagged for revaluation, so that we do not need to do manual revaluation moving forward. The system exchange rates will be updated, and by the time we run this revaluation, the journals will be created automatically. Okay, so one of the key things that the project team will be reaching out to you is to make sure the D365 foreign currency balance is matching to what you expect to see. Okay, the thing is, when we did the migration, we only pull out the numbers based on AX. Okay, I understand a lot of the countries, the AX foreign currency balances may not be accurate. Okay, we have checked for Hong Kong, it doesn't match what Hong Kong expects to see. So we are doing the adjustments accordingly. So moving forward, all foreign currency transaction must enter the foreign currency code and the foreign currency amount under the transaction amount. You cannot manually convert it to local currency for foreign currency transaction. The system will automatically calculate the local currency equivalent amount. Okay, that's the correct way to do it, so that every time your foreign currency balance will be revalued accordingly. Okay, that also means that if you have a foreign currency balance and you're trying to adjust it out, you must put in the foreign currency code and the foreign currency transaction accordingly to make sure that your foreign currency balance is correct. You cannot put in an original US dollar transaction, and when you want to net it off, you put in a Hong Kong dollar amount to net it off. Then you will still keep on having your revaluation because there is a foreign currency balance in the books. So it will be wrong. So we need to start making sure that the inward and outward transaction is based on the same currency, so that it will clear off when you do the revaluation. Okay, the steps to run is not complicated. We will send out the training documentation. Okay, because these are some of those monthly tasks that doesn't happen very often. We will look at it at a country by country level, whether we centralize this or we decentralize this part. Then can go back to your GL overview, the menu item. Okay, let's do a trial balance.
Trial balance under GL, inquiries and report, trial balance. Then you select the date. For example, then just click on the calculate balance. Then you can export this out to Excel.
Can you go back?
Or if you
just now-
if you want to look into the details, example for this account, right? This blue underline number you can actually click in. Then it will show you all the transactions.
Celine, can you go back to the trial balance screen? Okay, just now this one, right? When she run the trial balance, she only run by main account. You can change the selection. Yep. You can change the financial dimension set. So you can either choose just main account or you can choose the main account with financial dimension. You try run with financial dimension. This one should take a longer time because it's breaking up the transaction into more details. Okay, while we are waiting, currently I'm still working on the reports. There are some challenges that I face. So these few days I will continue to work on them so that we can get all the reports for January generated. Right, okay, so now we see that for the trial balance, right, you will see all your financial dimension, customer, project, branch, line of business, department. Okay, then same thing, you can export to Excel, you get more lines compared to just now where you just run for each individual GL account. So this is how you can get your trial balance in case your auditors next time or you want to just keep a trial balance per month for record purposes, just go ahead and generate it. Link, there's also the printing of journals, right? Can you show that as well? So the printing of journals.
Journals.
Yeah. There is one function where we can print out all the journals. No, not this one. This one is journal by journal. I think there is one function where you can print out the journal for the month. You go back to your SOP. Is that supposed to be one where we can print out all the journals?
No.
No. you go back to your D365 screen. Okay. Then it's fine. Then for those that require a journal printout to show the debit credit entries for filing purposes, then basically you just need to print out journal by journal. Or can you go to this thing called Ledger Report Print Journal? Take a look.
Where is it?
Ledger Report Print Journal. Second column, third from the top. See what the options you have.
Journal batch number, journal type.
I don't think we have those kind. It's okay, ignore this. You take a look at your journal number option. All right. It's okay. What else do you have inside your SOP? Yeah, since we're on it, we just run through quickly the allocation rule and the basis, just to give everybody a very high level understanding. Okay, like I said, there is this functionality to do cost allocation so that we do not need to manually calculate the split for every single journal that we need to do some cost allocation. Okay, scroll down. So for example, you can do a cost allocation to various departments. Like for example, maybe your rental cost, you may want to allocate out to the finance department, operations department, admin, etc. So this is one of the way that we can do it. Okay, you scroll down. Okay, the thing is, everything is based on math. If you have a formula to do the split, a standard formula, then you can use this function. Okay, what it does is you can either split by fixed value or you can split by fixed percentages. These are the two common ways that you can do this. Okay, so the idea is you need to specify what are the source transactions that you want to pick and how do you want to split it out. So for the source transaction, one of the way that we can play with this is we can either put in a general line of business and a general department code, or depending on how best we think this can fit, and we can set it up in such a way that it will automatically pull the balances for anything that matches the general department and allocate it out accordingly to each department, which means at the end of the day, after this process is completed, the general department would have a zero balance. But when we key in the entry for those invoices, it will make it very easy. You do not need to manually split it out. Okay, but this only works within the same company. If you are saying that, oh, I need to split the cost between, say, for example, HKSA, HKCS, ROH, then this will not work. This is only within the same company itself. You can do this split. Okay, you scroll down. Yeah, so for example, over here, this is how we can define for which account we split to finance, what is the weightage that you're going to split, how you're going to split. Okay, so you can think about it. We can explore it when we do the country by country calls. Okay, then this will save a lot of time in terms of, you know, oh, I need to go and split this manually. I need to make sure that I do my calculation first. Then after that, how am I going to key in the journal into multiple lines? All these things, you don't really need to do it manually. Okay. You go back to your main page. Okay, I think these are the important ones for GL purposes. Same thing, please note down all the questions that you have so that we can address it at the country call. Okay. After all the training is done, we will also be sending out all the training guide so that you can take a look first. Okay. If not, then we end the call for this session. Then we continue later at 11.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.